And the funny thing is that with this piece, like sometimes a little bit hard to get the rhythm of it in the A section, and then you play the B section, and there's no question, and it's kind of awesome. It's just sort of like bops along. No. I lose it after a minute, but so fun. I once had a gig. One of my first like paying jobs was around that time, early high school, where my guitar teacher slash multiple instrument teacher at the time was giving working partially at for Historic Hudson Valley, and he would give like entertain people on their tours of these historic sites in the Hudson Valley. So a place called Van Cortlandt Manor is where I first worked, and they hired me. He brought me along, knowing that I was interested in playing mandolin, to basically play this song as this kid. So it was probably like a cute thing. Like I'm sure I didn't play it right. It was more just like, oh, that guy's young. Look at him go. You can kind of do it. And these tour groups would come in and they would teach them about colonial life in America, and then be like, and they listened to this kind of music and they danced around, and then I'd just go like, 1, 2. And these groups of people from 2009, of course, did not know the moves, so they just sort of appreciated it. But it was all a good time, and I could so see myself dancing to that. Just got a test back. I'm negative today. I'm gonna text my roommates. I think I'm gonna just keep getting tested though, because as I was telling people who joined early on, I may have been exposed. There is a suspicion I have been exposed to the COVID-19, which was a real bummer. And I have to stay home, and I'm super bored today, which is why we're all here. Couldn't go into work, any of that stuff. And you guys are helping me with the whole isolation deal. But 2 negative tests so far. The window of, whatever, being actually able to be accurately tested is might still be not quite here. What was that sentence? Did anyone get that? Not me either. So sorry, but I have 2 negative tests. We're doing okay. I feel fine. But trying to kill time and practice and reading a lot about sperm whales. Fascinating animals. They can make a sound that is the loudest sound an animal can make. It's this clicking, and it enables them to communicate with other sperm whales thousands of miles away, like across the globe, because their loud sound can travel so far. And if you are in the midst of this sound as it's being loud, you could die. It can kill you with its sound pressure levels. And that's amazing. And I think they're also highly intelligent. They have big fat brains. They seem to be able to communicate with their own special whale language. They're the world's largest predator. But it's the sound thing that I keep watching these videos on. It's amazing. You could literally die. I don't know what the exact mechanism is, but maybe they rupture your organs with how loud it is. It's crazy. It's like Krakatoa down there. Play it. Whales are cool. Let's go whales. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are on board. Someone asks in the official question form, wolves? ? I love them. Who don't love whales? Show me one of you who don't love whales. Wolves. Or whales. Apex predators. I'm all into them because I think they're very misunderstood. And I think we got to work hard to understand them, because they are the keys to maintaining and sort of regaining our biodiversity and blah, 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 blah. Wolf chat. Yeah, love wolves. We all love wolves. Good. You passed. You can stay. The thing is, my sister, whom you know, Sierra, one of her gifts to me this Christmas was a what do you call it? A sort of ceremonial adoption of a wolf from the New York Wolf Center. Ben, the red wolf. Look up red wolves if you don't know about them, but they're great. I already have... Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to unplug for a second. I already have one of my own. Trumpet. That's Trumpet, the Mexican gray wolf. No. Oh, don't get the emoji keyboard up. I feel like an old man. Don't look at my bed. And she got me Ben. So I have Trumpet and I have Ben, and they're cuties, and they are the keys to our future. Mark my words. Ben's a sweet boy. Sierra's a sweet sister. We love it. And I tested negative, so like... Rah. Am I right? Gotta get those test scores up. Yale's never gonna take me. Yale's never gonna take me with... Was it 5 negative test scores now? It's interesting because I, again, am not great at mandolin. I can do the jig okay. That's like a nice like melodic thing. It's just because I learned it so early and it's stayed with me this whole time. But I still feel like I'm a rhythm guitarist, you know? That's my main thing. I prefer to just like jam along, and I'm not the most like detailed player, right? So that's still what I tend to do with mandolin, which is not generally what you do with a mandolin. I play it like I'm a rhythm guitarist because I am. So I start doing things like, I just learn like these full voiced chords when you don't really need to, you know? Normally you're in a band or whatever, they're filling out the harmonies, but start doing things like, you're not a ship to carry my life. You were nailed to my love in many lonely nights. You strayed from the cottages and found myself here. Oh, I need your love. Your love protects my fear. And I wonder sometimes, and I know I'm unkind, but I need you to turn to when I act so blind. Oh, I need you to turn to when I lose control. You're my guardian angel who keeps out the cold. Did you paint your smile on when I said I knew that my reason for living was for loving you? We're related in feeling, but you're high above. You're pure and you're gentle with the grace of a dove. And I wonder sometimes, and I know I'm unkind, but I need you to turn to when I act so blind. Oh, I need you to turn to when I lose control. You're my guardian angel who keeps out the cold. What is this called? It's called I Need You to Turn To by Elton John. You can find it anywhere you find music. because he's Elton John. One of my favorites. I think it's even faster than that because the original recording, like it's like a 2.5 minute song. I'm looking at it now. But in my mind, so it's not a mandolin song. It's actually like a harpsichord song. But I think of that song, and I think about when I was first hearing it as a very baby kid, on the Live from Australia CD that we had in the minivan. And on that song, very importantly, he goes, "But I need you, so be whatever. I need you to turn to when I act so blind." Love that. On the original recording, perfectly good. "But I need you to turn to when I act so blind." Versus "when I act so blind." And for some reason, that makes all the difference to me. So in the live version, he goes down. He goes, "when I act so blind." And I think that's like the perfect way to round out the melody. And I don't know why, because it's so simple. And I've never known anyone else to have this opinion or care this much about one little tweak. But he did Live in Australia now, like 17 years after the original album came out. So he'd been playing it for a while and knowing the song and whatever. And I think it's lovely. I think it just, for some reason, makes all the difference. So whenever I'm sitting around playing that song, singing whatever, Campfire with my family. Yeah, seventh win. There you go. Somebody knows. When I act so blind. But it's not even that it's the seventh, because it is. It's part of the thing, but anyway, I don't know. I don't know how to articulate why I love it, because it's such a simple tweak. But anyway, you can probably hear the difference if we A-B it. And I wonder sometimes, and I know I'm unkind, but I need you to turn to when I act so blind. And I wonder sometimes, and I know I'm unkind, but I need you to turn to when I act so blind. All I need is so. I think a lot about that. I think we as English speakers, this is gonna get a little analytical, but I think about this a lot, and you folks deserve to join me on this journey I'm having with melodies. Bouzouki is a cool instrument, like a heavy mandolin. Yes, it is like, the mandolin's cousin that comes to visit every now and then, and everyone's like, "This guy's kind of groovy. Why don't we see more of him?" But here we are on my musicological tangent. I think as English speakers, we associate melodies going up with more of a question, because we, in our language, questions go up almost without fail, right? That's the hallmark of English and certain other languages. And then going down, by contrast, is a statement. That's how I think about it, and that's how sometimes I like to fit my melodies, is if my lyric is unsure or asks a question, I point it upwards. And so for him to go, "when I act so blind," that's an upward motion, right? And he does it in the live version as well. "When I act so blind," but then he comes down. And I think when he comes down like that, it means he's more sure of it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I act so blind. Like I can be insensitive, or I can just like be a bit of a jerk, or like whatever that's supposed to mean to you, right? When I act so blind," it's more final, and it's more like, yeah, I screw up sometimes. Yeah, that's kind of what I think about that. Paul McCartney recently was like being interviewed on his song Yesterday, which is literally the most covered song in history. Like we have the data for that apparently, and more people have covered Yesterday than any other song. And he particularly likes, he has heard a lot of the versions, and he goes, "There's a problem that I have with a lot of the covers, because people tend to go, I must have said something wrong," instead of the original lyric. "I said something wrong. I said something wrong." And his issue with that, he was kind of joking, but he's like, I must have said something wrong isn't owning up to the fact that you did say something wrong. And that's why you long for yesterday. So it's the same kind of, I think, spirit. When I act so blind. When I act so blind. This has been my TED Talk. Is that still funny? Do people still say that and get laughs? Because it's a little overplayed, I think. But when you go off on as much of a tangent as I just did, you can do it. Maybe you can. How are we all doing? I lost some viewers. Oh, I had a really good one. The band Ophelia. Hard drives loading up. Yesterday cover, I couldn't do it. This one's fun. It's just like. Oh, which one is this? No. Oh, well, they gave me a second little ending there for me to... Ophelia. First time in this live stream. This is Jonah, right? Yes. Hi, I'm Jonah. Thanks for tuning in. It's just a small little thing. I used to teach songs off Silo, and then I stopped, and then I started just sneak attacking so that I didn't have too many people watching, right? Come on. And no, I mostly just do it when I'm practicing and looking for people to virtually shoot the breeze with. So welcome. Great question. Is that a lore? Did you are you just got your ear to the ground on like people live streaming mandolin stuff? Because you seem to know what's going on. It is not. I think it's a rover. Why do I have to get that close? Rover. Is it in mirror image for you guys? Can't remember. Just a little thingy that buddy of mine sold to me about a year ago now, and I've been loving it. Was it something that somebody? Oh yeah. Are there ever going to be more Silo Mix downs on the YouTube channel? That's seeing your Pro Tools workflow. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, I need to find the time for that. And actually, I mean, I know I alluded to there being more of those, which would be a lot of fun. I could talk about this stuff all day, but it is a lot, like it's a niche thing. Not too many people would be watching those, I don't think. And while I appreciate you asking and being curious and wanting to know more, I think that's awesome. I just there's a part of me that would rather work on new stuff and just continue putting. There's a very big part of me that would rather work on new stuff, and I have been working on a lot of new stuff. So yeah, more mandolin live streaming. Well, the guy to watch is obviously Chris Thiele, for mandolin stuff, and I think it's so interesting. He's brilliant. He's literally a MacArthur recognized genius for his musicianship, which I think is really cool. And he's the mandolin guy. I think it's really cool that we as mandolin players. I'm not going to actually associate myself because I'm not at any reasonable skill level to call myself a mandolin player, but it's so cool how modern mandolin is like kind of centered around this one guy, for better or worse. I mean, there's tons of great other players out there like Sierra Hull or Sarah Jaros or any of them, but Chris Thiele's really leading the pack, I think, and I think that's really cool because he deserves it. He seems like a really nice guy. Weirdly enough, I have run into him 3 times in my life. I don't go seeking him out. He's a New Yorker, I believe, so it makes sense, but I keep running into that guy, and he's so nice, and just one of the best musicians out there. Oh yeah, Familiarity. Yeah, is a fantastic song. It's in my top Punch Brothers top 5 for sure. But I'm not gonna talk about Chris Thiele anymore. I'm gonna put the mandolin down so we don't think I'm about to bust out some Chris Thiele, because I can't. Few can. Does this guy work? Back to the old 6-string. Over time, my thing that I've played when I pick up a guitar for the first time has always tended towards this open E kind of droning thing, which I think is a lot of fun, and it's pleasant, and it's not like the thing that you hear all the time. But naturally that becomes All Things Must Pass. I don't think it's a little high for me, so I'm not going to do an honest cover of it, but it's like they'll very slowly go out of tune, but they'll kind of always just be doing it, as opposed to steel strings. They lock a little bit more. What was the subject of the first song I ever wrote? I don't know. Oh. I'm a Big Fat Naked Baby is the first song that I wrote when I was a child. And my sister was even more of a child, so I was probably just like 7. And my little baby sister was like 4 years younger, and I told her to go into my parents' room and sing the song that I wrote, which goes, "I'm a big fat naked baby," which is really mean, because like big fat is not pleasant. That's not what you want to tell someone to call themselves. But we all thought it was funny. It was a sibling moment. So I suppose this, the subject of that song, is that what you're asking? The subject, yeah, is about being like a big and fat naked baby. That's the first song that I wrote. My mind automatically goes to Melissa by the Allman Brothers. Oh yeah, Sweet Melissa. I don't know that song super well, but it does sound like the right key, right? Yeah. Sweet Melissa. I don't know if that's how it goes, but yeah. Yeah. Were there any songs left off Silo? So technically, no. There's never been any songs left off any of our albums. I know, the normal workflow for an artist is to book time in the studio. So you're continuing the question. The normal workflow is to book time in a studio and then be like, record all your songs that you've got, whether you've been writing them on the road or like had them done for a while or whatever. And then like work out the album order and pick what it's going to be called and just figure out how it fits, how they all fit together. And then leave some out because some of them don't fit. That's never been the process for me because I just have been really precious about using the time that I have to do all that process in advance, and so that I can know that my time is spent wisely. I guess like for a while I didn't have a job, and it was hard to justify making a record when you don't have a job, like all this stuff. So nothing was wasted. And of course that has changed a little bit now, and I'm like a little more financially secure and can just and I work in a studio, so I can just record all day and who cares. But yeah, there hasn't really been anything left off of any of the albums. I believe though that we're working on something now where if you purchase the upcoming vinyl of Silo, you will then have access to a sort of studio outtake demo version of one of our songs. And we got my buddy Matthew working on that. But that's really that's real. I mean, that's real. Leaving something off because it doesn't fit, and that's a really cool thing. I think I'm a big bonus track fan. I think I might try to do that later. But everything that we've recorded and mastered has come to you guys. Yeah, so vinyls, folks. Get your record players now. Elton John, right?
Come down
come down in time was a message she gave. Come down in time, I'll meet you halfway. A little high for me. Well, I don't know if I should have heard hers yet, but true love like hers is a hard love to get, and I walk most all day, and I ain't heard her call, and I'm getting to thinking if she's coming at all. Come down in time, I still hear her sing, so clear in my ears, like it was today. Come down in time was a message she gave. Come down in time, and I'll meet you halfway. Almost didn't screw it up. There are women, some hold you tight while some leave you counting the stars in the night. Tell you what, it's a cool thing to write a song in A minor that ends on a B minor chord. Do-do-do. When I pick up a nylon string guitar, all I want to do is play the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly soundtrack. And that's my right. Question, are the vinyls going to be available for international shipping? Chile. Yeah. I believe they will be. Who's to stop us? Keep your eyes on the horizon. Should be March or April. Gonna get some physical discs of our music. No, Jolene, no, I mean, yeah, right? But no, because I can't. It's actually, I don't really know. Is it in this key? You can always just sort of mumble in falsetto and people will be like, oh, he's not covering it. He's just sort of... He's fooling around. That's all we're doing here. We're fooling around. I don't know the words. It's not in my range. I can't play it. It's not easy. I think I've tried before. Like, the exact picking pattern is tough. I just don't know it. It's cool, though. That's a way cool song. And recommendation. We're talking about vinyls here. If you have the vinyl record of Jolene, play it. If you have the 45, play it at 33. Otherwise, just do what I do and go on YouTube. Search for Jolene at low speed. It's incredible. There's probably a varying degree of like your guys' knowledge of how these things work, but basically if you play the 45 RPM single of Jolene at the lower 33.5 speed, both the tempo and the pitch change at a 1-to-1 sort of ratio, meaning the pitch will go down and the tempo will go down at the same rate. And when you hear Jolene like that, it's swampy and it's groovy. It's like somewhere down here. frequencies get shifted, and the overtones and all of it go down, and she sounds like a male singer. She sounds like the vibrato's slowed. Everything is wavy and cool, and it's awesome. Yeah, okay, we all know it. We've all heard it. I'm not telling you anything you don't know here. It's already an internet thing, but it's great, right? So that's the question. Who are my influences as a guitarist? Where did the name Silo come from? I don't know. That's kind of the true answer, but it's also not. I mean, like, I have my reasons, and they're not so important, because you may know that the word silo is neither a song title nor a lyric, but it's just part of it, and it means what it means, and I think it's just fun having it be a little bit of a mystery. Influences as a guitarist. So influences for me, Mark Knopfler, desert island guitarist. If I can only bring one guitarist with me to the desert island, it would be Mark Knopfler. George Harrison, of course. There's Derek Trucks. He's like my slide go-to. I think he's incredible. John Mayer, really. I think I learned like 10% of all I know about guitar just trying to play Stop This Train as a kid, because it's so hard. Just do that all day. Elmore James is incredible. Lately, Madison Cunningham, really, really good, really talented. Yeah, I like the finger style. I've just always tended towards finger style, no matter what, even on electric. I'm just like, this is what I call the Knopfler. I doubt he's the first one to ever have done it, but he's definitely how I learned it. And I'm just kind of using these two fingers. Who else plays the guitar? Anyone? Oh, Lindsey Buckingham. I feel bad because he's such an influence on me, but I think both in my brain and in the world's brain, he's a little bit forgotten. I just never remember to mention his name, but he's incredible. He's got so much power in his right hand. I could do that. I mean, the thing is, man, oh man, what a tough song. Lindsey Buckingham plays things while singing that I can't even play. Like, I just need to focus all my brain power on it. We're not in tune because I put it on a K-pop. Say to that. Slow it down is what I would tell myself if I was smart. Interesting story. My first exposure to being a musician, the concept of that being someone's job and profession and calling, was from a VHS I had as a kid. My family had a Fleetwood Mac, The Dance, 1997, live concert they did, I think, out in LA, and I listen to it all the time still. It's incredible. It's great live show from 20 years after they released Rumors, so there's just tons of hits on there. But I would look at Lindsey Buckingham playing, and I was a kid. I never picked up a guitar. I wasn't musically inclined, but I would just watch him, and he had a cool... I mostly liked how he looked. I liked his style. He had a vest on, but no apparent shirt underneath it, but also a jacket. It was wild. I think all black, and it made an impression on me. I was like, that's cool. Whatever that is, that's cool. I'm into that. Forget Batman. I'm over him because Lindsey Buckingham is the new guy. And years later, I would start learning guitar and realize I might have even been picking up on something musically then, because it spoke to me visually, but I didn't realize until years later that this guy's serious and this music is serious and it's worth learning and listening to. So my apologies to Lindsey because I forgot to mention him off the bat, but he's definitely a huge influence on me. Yeah. Someone asked another question. Are you proud of me? I'm getting through all of these questions. When did I know I would play music professionally? Write and play music professionally? It was less a question of can I play and write music professionally, and more a question of what can I do? Because it's hard to be a musician, notoriously hard to make that work. So let me make that my hobby, and what are my other skills? What can I do as a job? Could I have a desk job? Could I repair cars? Could I travel the world and learn about languages or something? And the answer to all of those questions is no. I have no other skills. I can't do anything else. And so it's been better be a musician then, so that I don't go absolutely insane. Because even in college when I met Brian, we were both at Hopkins, and I'm surrounded by all these brilliant people, and I kind of felt like it was a fluke that I got in. I was like, what am I doing here? I'm the guy who's just in his dorm room playing guitar all the time. Then I went to music school and found a great group of people and learned how to record and mix and all that stuff. So yeah, it was just more realizing that I don't think I can do anything else that brought me to playing music. Maybe that's sad, maybe it's cool, I don't know. Alright. And we're out of tune again. Wouldn't you know? It's rad, they say. People have spoken. Thanks for calling it rad. It is what it is, and I'm super blessed and happy to be doing this. The money will happen, so they say, right? Guess it all depends on how many vinyls each of you buys. Shied away from covering. I wrote it from playing you guys this song because it is our most popular, and I do not know why, but I think I felt something when I was writing it, and I was like, my friends were like, "That's something, right?" And maybe it is. I don't know what the something is, but I'm gonna play it. Those of you who know our music are used to hearing Brian sing this one. Boy, would I love that right now. But we are not together. Physically. We are doing that safety thing. Sophie, there to Sophie. Great start. Your friends all think I'm lonely, but they don't really know me. I guess I have to work on that. I found a piece of ground in this town. I just don't need them around, putting labels on my back. No. Found doorstep is the front line. Battlefield of landmines, set to blow when I walk in. Lately, been calling me baby, so I can walk in safely and let those glory days begin. And if no one looks up, they'll never see my smiling face and your warm embrace when you're standing next to me. Sophie, will you be my one and only? Know you've always known me. Make the rules up as I go. All the same, I think we're winning this game, but we've never given it a name. I just call it friend or foe. And if no one looks up, they'll never see my smiling face, your warm embrace when you're standing next to me. Sophie, will you be my one and only? Questions. Hi, the new Lamami piece slaps. You're very powerful. That was 42 minutes ago? I didn't see that 42 minutes ago. We've been doing it for 42 minutes? How the time goes. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us on our crazy podcast journey. I love doing it. It's fun. My sort of revised role on the show has been great, and I love working with all those dear friends of mine. And then there's another question, sorry. Oh, is there a story behind Sophie? You guys always want the story, don't you? Bunch of investigative journalists over here. I can't divulge. I think there's like a sort of maybe almost narcissistic tendency that artists have of being like, the mystique behind the art is too powerful and I can't explain where this comes from and whatever. I don't like to I don't like to explain things, unfortunately, and I don't want to be rude either, but I don't want to tell the stories because the story is your story. Like, I think, you know, while it may be a little bit obnoxious, I also think that it's important for you to have your own meaning put to it, and maybe your name's not Sophie, but it speaks to you in some other way, and like whatever. So I just tend to avoid that, just because, you know, it's better to have your own story be attached to it. If I tell you that the song is about Queen Elizabeth specifically, and my deep attraction to her, then you'll be like, oh, that's weird. I don't like that song as much anymore. Or you'll be like, I like that a lot. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Yeah. Oh, we've got, yeah, goodbye as well. Thanks for listening to that. I think I stumbled through it a little bit. It's been so long since I sung that. It's been since the demo days. And yeah, I think I always wrote it to be in Brian's voice, so it's gotta be in B flat. Yeah, these people get it. All right, well, thank you. Oh, the Queen thing. Yep. Well, if you guys have anything else for me, I probably have nothing else for you. Oh, look, we're just naming songs. It's all good. I love this. Thanks for listening to the music, guys. This is really meaningful and profound to me. And I'm happy to have at least, at the minimum, 27 people who are listening. Well, this is it for me. I'm signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and go, you know, get tested and get negative tested, because it's a thrill. Like, I highly recommend it.